welcome back. If you're new here, hello, my name is Brittany, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how I got this look. This would be like my go-to prom makeup tutorial, but here's the catch. It is with all drugstore or affordable makeup products. Like, if you were to see this look, would you think it's all from drugstore? I think not. I think this looks absolutely beautiful. I had my doubts when I was first applying it. I had to do a couple things to make some of the products work, but we made it work. We look fucking poppin', and we are ready to go to prom. So I usually freelance for proms, and I love doing prom makeup, but this year I am not able to. So I figure, how can I help you guys get the perfect prom makeup? So I'm like, let's do some prom makeup tutorial. So I know prom is right around the corner, so if there are any other looks that you guys want to see, please tag me on my Instagram, or if there's any other looks you want me to do, leave them in the comments down below, or basically, I don't know, just find a way to send them to me, and if I have time, I will recreate them. I will use certain products, like if there's certain eyeshadow palettes you guys want to see. If you are going to prom, make sure you are being smart, be safe, don't drink and drive, don't do anything stupid, but overall just have an amazing time. I hope you guys find this tutorial helpful. And I know when I was in high school, I was balling on a budget. Shit, I didn't even have a budget. I'm like, Mom, Dad, can I have some money? So I wanted to keep this really affordable for you guys, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it. So if you guys do like this video, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button or down. If you guys like or don't like tutorials, let me know. That way I know what you guys like to see. And make sure you guys subscribe to this channel before you guys leave, and let's just jump right in and let's do this! Okay, so being that it is prom, I'm going to first of all pull my hair back because we don't want our hair falling in our damn face the whole entire time. So the first thing that I would tell you guys is honestly put eye drops in. This is one thing that I talk about in some of my videos, but not all of them. I always use these Roto Ice eye drops. I buy these at the drugstore, Walmart, any place like that. These are really intense on your eyes, but they make your eyes look bright, white, and awake. So I would put these in before you start any makeup. So now we got our eye drops in. You'll see my eyes are a little bit crazy, but it does calm down over time. So now I'm just going to go into my eyeshadow. So the first thing that I always do is prime my eyes. I always just use a concealer. I'm going to use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Concealer. I love this stuff. It's really nice on my under eyes, and it works really well as a primer as well. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone. So I will just put this all over my lid space, and then I will just blend it out with a makeup sponge. And then the makeup sponge I'm going to use today is the Sonia Kashuk sponge. This is like $7. I buy mine at Target. But the ones that I recommend the most are either this one. I really like the Real Techniques, it's like the orange sponge. I really like that one, and then I also really love the L'Oreal Blend Artist sponge. It's going to be the pink sponge. So those are the three from the drugstore that I highly recommend, but this one I would say is my favorite. I love the shape of it. It is, I think, the most inexpensive of all of them. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the least expensive, and I just overall just like this one so much more, and it lasts the longest out of all of them as well. So I really recommend this, and then I just blend out that concealer to help prime my eyes. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go in with my eyeshadow. So I'm going to first blend out my concealer one more time just to make sure there's no creasing. And then I'm going to keep my eyes closed, that way I don't get any creases from opening my eyes. But the palette that I chose today was the City Mini Palette Times Shayla by Maybelline palette. I have a really hard time finding eyeshadows from the drugstore that are actually like mind-blowingly good. So this is probably the best one that I personally found, and then I'm just using my BH Cosmetics 6 brush. BH Cosmetics has really nice brushes, and then I also use a lot of Morphe brushes. But if you're looking for some that are like readily available, I would check out the e.l.f. brushes, I would check out the Wet n Wild brushes, and then I'm just going in with the shade right here just to really set everything. So it's just going to be any type of skin tone color. But like I said, with eyeshadow palettes from the drugstore, I have a really hard time finding good ones. So if you know any that are amazing, let me know. I was going to use the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, but that one is a little bit more expensive. It's still affordable for how many eyeshadows that you get. But I wanted to keep this pretty like exclusive to drugstore as much as I could. So I figure we'll start with this one, and then if you guys want to see another tutorial using that palette, just let me know and I could definitely do that, because I feel like that palette is so worth the money. I feel like it's really affordable for what you get with that palette. Like, you get the quality, you get a ton of shadow, so I really recommend that one as well. But like I said, I wanted to stick with something like this, that way if you guys wanted to just go to the store, granted you can get Morphe at Ulta now, but this is like if you want to go to Rite Aid, Walgreens, you will be able to find this palette. And then they do also have other palettes than just this one, like they're the City Minis, but they're just different shades, but I just really like this one for a prom look. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go in with this shade right here. I kind of wish that there was a shade between these two, but this will work. It's just going to be a little bit deeper than I would probably do if I were freelancing typically. So I'm just going to focus this using that same brush, and I'm just going to focus this right in the crease of my eye. And then I'm just going to blend back and forth using windshield wiper motions, and then blend up using like little circular motions. Okay, so now we have that shade all blended out. I don't know what the shade names are or anything like that. It's just going to be that brown one there. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is take the black shade. Typically I would not do black. I would do like a really deep brown because I like to stick with browns for prom makeup tutorials, but like I said, we're just using kind of what we have. And then I'm just going to focus this right on that outer corner. And then just be mindful, like I do my shadow so high because I do have hooded eyes. So if you don't have hooded eyes, you don't have to go as high with your shadows like I do. But I'm just going to apply this right to the outer corner. And then I'm using my BH7 brush. I wanted to use a lot of these BH brushes because I feel like they're really nice. And then the like entire thing, I think I got 10 brushes and it was like $22. So I wanted to use as many brushes as these as possible. That way if you wanted to order some BH brushes, you could. But I also do recommend like Wet n Wild brushes and e.l.f. brushes as well. Alright, so that's all I'm going to really put for the black because I don't want to go too heavy with the black. So now I'm going to go in, I'm going to take this purple shade. Normally I would not do purple, but I'm just using what I have in the palette. So I'm going to take that same brush and then I'm just going to take it a little bit lower than that original brown shade that we put down. And I'm just going to focus this purple shade right in between like the black and then the brown. You could have done this step before doing the black, but I kind of wanted to have it kind of mixed together. So I'm just going to blend this right below the crease. And then if you start to really notice that your black is kind of fading, we can go back in with more black later and then just intensify it again. But right now we're just going to focus on really adding in that purple right below the crease. I'm not really liking this brush for that, so I'm going to take a different one. I'm going to take my Morphe R39 brush. This is like my go-to crease brush. I'm going to take that purple shade again and just focus it with that R39 brush because I feel like this is going to do exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, so now I'm going to take that BH7 brush again and just intensify that black just a little bit more because we did lose some pigment that we had going on. So I'm just going to focus that right on the outer corner and then we'll focus on blending after. So I'm just going to basically place it in the outer corner and then I will come back to it after. This is just kind of like the way that I like to do it because black can get really heavy really quickly. So I just like to place it and then I kind of mess with it after I have everything kind of set in place. So now I'm going to go in with this gold shade right here. But first I'm going to lay down a base and kind of cut out the area that I want to have really bright and really draw the attention to it. So for me, I'm going to take my MAC 242 brush. You do not need to use a MAC brush. This is just like my favorite brush as far as cutting the crease, but you can use any other ones. I just don't personally have any, so I'm kind of cheating right here. I'm sorry. But I'm just going to go in and cut the crease just using that same concealer that I used to prime my eyes, and then I'm just going to cut this area that I want to have look more pigmented. And then that trick really doesn't work for me as far as like, I don't know, giving me the guideline of where I want the product to go. So I go a little bit higher. With mine, I take it up higher. That way, if I have my eyes open, you can really see it because I do have hooded eyes. So if you don't have hooded eyes, you do not have to take it as high as I personally do. But I just like to cut the crease. That way, the shade that I put on top of it really pops. So then I'm going to go in with the shade right here. This is going to be like the gold metallic shade. I'm just going to take it on, again, that MAC 242 brush and just place it right on top of that concealer shade. Now, another thing that I typically do is I usually use like a glitter or something like that, but I don't have any from the drugstore. And then I figured this way you can get the full use of the palette itself and you don't have to buy any additional glitters or anything like that. So I'm just going to go in and top it off with my finger, and then I just kind of like blend where you see the colors meet. I just like to pat back and forth. That way it just blends the shades together. And then we can always go in with a brush and blend it out as well. Okay, so now we have that down. Now I'm just going to take my Morphe R39 brush and just kind of buff these two shades right here. Just doing really light pressure and just blending them together. That way I get a really nice fade between the two, and that way there's no harsh lines or anything like that. So I'm really liking how this side looks. This side lost the black a little bit, so I'm going to add just a little bit more to that outer V, and then I'll go back in with my Morphe R39 and just blend again. So I like to keep it looking pretty smoky, and I also know that wing liner is a really hot commodity these days, so I will be doing a wing liner with this look today. Typically, I probably wouldn't do a wing liner with this look because I don't want it to be too much, but I feel like too much is like what people look for these days. But I will tell you, if you are not really experienced with makeup, do not do a wing liner. You do not need it by any means. It's just like one of those things that people like, but it's not necessary. Like if I were to pop lashes on this right now, it would look so beautiful, but I know wing liner is a thing. So the liquid liner that I've been loving is the NYX Epic Ink Liner. I think this liner is better than some high-end liner, so I would definitely recommend this as well. And then I'm just going to go in first and just really line my lash line with this. And then I'm going to start really small. This is just something that I've noticed works for me. I start with my wing really small and then I build it. That way I don't go too heavy too quickly. And it's already a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be, but we'll make it work. It's probably the best wing liner like set I've ever done in my entire life. And no, they are not perfect. I know, but they're close enough so it works for me. So I usually like to do like my main part of my eyes and then I go to my face and then I finish off my eyes at the end. So now I would go in with my face primer. So the first thing that I would go in with is my pore filler primer because I do have large pores. So the one that I'm going to be using today is the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. This is honestly like my favorite pore filler primer of all time because not only is it insanely affordable, but it just works like a high-end primer. I love this primer. I think it's so good. It does the most for my pores as well. So I like to focus this on my T-zone area. So basically in this whole area right here and then on my forehead as well. So I would go like easy on this product because it is a heavier, thicker consistency. So I like to go in with not a ton of product at first and then I will add more if I need it. So I just like to set the inner part of my face and then I will go in with a different primer for the outer perimeter. But if you don't have large pores or anything like that, I would recommend the Nivea Men's Post Shave Balm. This is a really nice all over the face, especially if you have drier skin. This gives you a little bit of moisturization, so I would recommend this if you don't have the problems that I have with my skin. But then the other primer that I want to go in with is the Physicians Formula Spotlight Illuminating Primer. I'm going to use this because I'm going to be using a matte foundation, but I still want to have that luminosity because we want to be glowing for prom. So I'm going to focus this basically on all the areas around where I just placed that other primer. So basically all around the perimeter of my face, and then I will take the excess and then end up dragging it on the inner part of my face. Just so we get some luminosity on the inner part, but most of it will be on the outer. So I'm just going to set my face with that and then we'll be ready for foundation. So for me personally, I like to use a matte foundation whether it's on me or clients. So the one that I highly recommend is the L'Oreal Pro Matte Infallible. I got a brand new one, so I'm so excited to see if I love this as much as I used to. But the other foundation that I would highly recommend, if you're looking for a more natural looking complexion, I would highly recommend the Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation because I feel like this lasts really nicely throughout the day. So I would definitely recommend this one as well, but the one that I'm going to be using today is the L'Oreal Pro Matte because I know I'm going to be sweating, I know I'm going to be dancing, turning up. I know I'm going to want matte full coverage because I do have combination skin, so I will get oily, especially at my T-zone. I want it to be matte to make sure that I don't look shiny or anything like that. So I'm going to be using the shade 108 and brand new bottle. Yes, girl. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to dot it in sections on my face because this does dry down. So I'm going to use it in sections. That way I make sure I'm not blending out already dried down foundation. The only downfall with this foundation is it does pull really yellow on the skin. So if you have a lot more cooler complexion than I do, like I can make this work. I think if you have a cooler complexion, I don't know if this would necessarily, like the tones would work for you. You might have to mix a couple. Like I said, I'm using the shade 108 and it is looking pretty orange on me right now, but I can make it work. So I'm just going to blend it out using the flat end of the sponge. And then I will go in with concealer after I am finished with blending this out. I just don't remember this being this orange. I wonder if they changed the formula or something. I might even top this off with that healthy foundation just to give a little bit more of a balance with the oranginess that's going on with my skin. We'll actually probably do that. So that way I'll get like a little bit more of a natural looking finish on top of the matte coverage. So make sure you guys blend it down your neck as well. Or if you have like a dress that cuts down, like blend it to where the dress is going to show. So like if I were wearing a dress like this, I would blend it all over my chest as well, just so everything was matching. So I'm actually going to take some of this healthy foundation because I'm really not liking how orange my skin looks. So I'm going to basically top off the Pro Matte Foundation with this healthy foundation just to give it more of a neutral balance for me. I still can't get over how orange that is. Like, it never looked like that before, at least that I remember. And just be mindful too, not all of the shades of the Pro Matte are this orange either. This is just the shade that I chose, so I'm going to blend down that Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation down my neck as well, and then we should be good to go after that because I feel like that balanced it a lot nicer. It's still not a perfect match, but we'll make it work. Okay, so now our face is pretty good with foundation. Is it an exact match? No. I didn't try this shade before I applied it, but like I said, we'll make it work. So now I'm going to go in with my concealer. I'm going to use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Concealer. If you have dark circles or anything like that, I would highly recommend the NYX Dark Circle Concealer, doing this before this step, but I feel like for right now we look pretty good. So I'm just going to add this Instant Age Rewind Concealer right in my under eye area. I like to do like, I don't even know what to call this. Like, I used to do the big triangles, but I don't really do that anymore because it doesn't really flatter my face. So I like basically align the underneath of my eye. I blend down a little bit, but I don't go lower than my cheekbone anymore. And then I'll put some on my chin, on my Cupid's bow, on the center of my forehead. And then I will also go down the center of my nose as well, just a little bit. And then I'll just, again, blend this out with my Sonia Kashuk makeup sponge. And then as you can see, this blends out so easily. And then this is the step that'll really help make my foundation not look as crazy as it just did. So then now that that's all set, now I'm the type of girl, like I said, I get oily throughout the day, so I have to set my entire face with powder. So the powder that I'm going to use is the Coty Airpun. This is one of my all-time favorite powders. It really works well on my skin, so I'm just going to blend out those under eyes one last time before applying powder, just to make sure there's no creasing or anything like that. And then I'm going to open up my powder. I put all of my excess right in the lid, and then I dip my sponge right in here. So you guys can see I've done my full face so far with just a makeup sponge, so I feel like this is the most crucial tool, at least for when I do makeup. And then I'm just going to tap off the excess and just set the underneath of my eye with this Coty Airpun powder. And then I do end up going in on the rest of my face with this powder as well. The setting powder is just really going to basically lock everything in place, and that's what I really look for with this powder, is I want to make sure none of this makeup moves throughout the day. And this is what really is going to lock it in. And then when we do a setting spray later on, that's what's really going to really tie everything back together and make it look a lot more skin-like, because you will see when you put these powders on your face, you really start to look almost like cakey, but I try to not do too much powder anymore. I used to go ham with powder. Now I just set it just enough, that way it's still covered, but it's not too much. And then when I spray my face with the setting spray, it really helps melt everything right into the skin. So you will look a little bit crazy for a little while, but it will work itself out. Like, if you're ever doing your makeup and you're like, oh my god, this looks like shit, I always just keep going, and then it eventually ties together. Alright, so now our face is all set. Now I'm just going to take a fluffy brush. This is from Sephora, but you could use any sort of fluffy brush. Let me get a more affordable brush. Let me get my Morphe M527 brush. I'm just going to dust away all the excess product. This is typically a bronzer brush for me, but it'll work for now. So I'm just dusting away all that excess powder just so we don't have any extra powder hanging out on our face. Okay, so now for contouring, I'm going to take my Wet n Wild contour palette. First, I'm going to take the shade Dulce de Leche. This is the one I really like for contouring. As you can see, hit pan, it's really well loved. And I'm going to use my Morphe M529 brush. This is a really just nice pointed powder brush. I'm going to dust away the excess product because this is a really powdery product, as you could probably just see in that. And I'm just going to focus this right underneath the cheekbones. Like you always see people do that. I focus this right in there, and then I like to blend it up. That way, if you blend it down, you end up looking like you have a beard. At least that's what it does to me. What I typically like to do when I contour is I start above my ear and then drag it towards my mouth. I feel like that's just like the perfect spot. Even when I freelance, that's like what I do for everybody. So just make sure you are looking at that. Like, start at the top of your ear, blend it down. Don't blend it down all the way to your mouth. Just blend it down at like a little bit of an angle. And then that's your contour. That's like a little trick that I used. And then another trick that I did, it was like, think of like a 3. That's how you know all the areas that you would want to contour. I mean, everybody contours differently. I have a 5 head, so I really like to contour my forehead. And then obviously I got that double chin going on, so we want to snatch that double chin real quick. Okay, so now we're all set with contouring. Everything's all blended pretty good. I usually contour before though, because if it's not blended enough, this is the next step that will help really blend everything together. So now I'm going to take the other Wet n Wild MegaGlo contour palette in the shade Caramel Toffee, and And I'm going to take the shade right here. This is what I'm going to use for my bronzer. So what I'm going to do is just go in all the areas that I just contoured. This is a Crown SS023 Jumbo Kabuki fan brush. This is like my current favorite bronzer brush. So I'm going to go a little bit higher than I just contoured, but it's almost like I layer it on top of the contour. That way it helps really blend everything together so you don't have like a super harsh contour or a super harsh bronze. It just kind of all blends together, and this just fits perfectly right on my cheekbones. But I'm just going to bronze all on my chest as well because this is what really kind of makes everything balance pretty nice. Okay, so now that bronzer and contour are done, I'm going to go in and highlight. Now this is going to be the highlight like basically everywhere that I set my concealer. So I'm going to take this banana shade in the Wet n Wild palette, and I'm going to go in all those areas that I already set with a loose powder, but this just helps really brighten everything. Like you could see right there, like how much of a difference that makes. This just really helps draw the attention to the center of the face. So I put this everywhere that I put my concealer. So in my under eye area, I put this on my chin, Cupid's bow, and then I even dust a little bit on my forehead as well. And then if you get a little bit too heavy with your contour, you could always go in and just edge it up with this banana shade as well, and it'll just help clean up that area a little bit. Alright, so now we're done with setting our under eyes. Now I'll go in with my blush. So the blush I'm going to use today is the Wet n Wild ColorIcon blush in the shade Mellow Wine. I was between this one or the Butter blush. It looks like this. It's going to be rosy pink. I was debating between these two, but I think this one will go better with the eye look that we have going on. But I really do love those Butter blushes as well. These ones are even a little bit less expensive as well. So that's always an added bonus. Just be careful because these are really powdery products. And then I just like to almost like smile and then apply most of the product to the apples of my cheeks, and then I just kind of swirl everything all together because I want this to almost like mix with my bronzer and contour. And I usually go a little bit heavier with blush at first just because blush is always the first thing to come off me. So I would typically apply this heavier, which is why I look a little bit crazy right now, but this always comes off me really quickly, so I don't really freak out over applying too much blush for an occasion like this, just because I know I'm going to be wearing it for a while and I want it to look really nice and rosy and just flushed, you know what I mean? So now I'm all set with blush. I would just keep blending that. If it's a little bit too intense, just keep blending it. But I feel like this right now looks really nice, and that is typically what I would look for. So now I'm going to go in and do my highlight, and I assure you this is not sponsored by Wet n Wild. I just have a lot of products from them that I love. So I would go in with the Wet n Wild MegaGlo highlighting powder and Precious Petals, or if you could still find the Gold Bar, I really love that one as well, but I wanted to use this one because I know this one is still available. And then I'm just going to apply this right to the cheekbones because we all know you guys want that highlight though. Like, highlight is such a big thing now, so I know you guys are going to want to glow. So that is what I am serving you with, is affordable, inexpensive, bomb-ass glow. Like, yes, girl. This is like $4 at Rite Aid, Walmart, or any place like that. It's super inexpensive. It's so beautiful. It doesn't emphasize texture or anything like that, so as much as you want to glow, girl, you fucking glow, girl. And then I almost smile, and then I blush a little bit of the highlight right to the apple of my cheek. That way you could see it when I'm just looking straight at you. If I just turn a little bit, you could still see the little bit of glow right here, right on the apple of my cheek. So that's like a new thing I've been doing. So I'm going to put this on my Cupid's bow as well because we want to draw more attention to our luscious lips. I will put this a little bit on the tip of my nose. I used to go ham with this, and then my husband was like, girl, you need to chill out with that. So I put a little bit on the tip of my nose and on my Cupid's bow, but the main focus is going to be that cheekbone area. So now that that is all set, I will go in and spray my face. I'm going to use the Real Color Stay and Spray Makeup Setting Spray. I get this at Sally Beauty. I love how it has like the aerosol. Love that. It's a super fine mist, so I love this. I just really love that spray because it's just nice. Like, it feels so good on the skin. It doesn't feel like it sits heavy on your skin, and it really helps make everything just kind of melt into the skin. And then you can even, as your face is drying, if you have a dress like this on, you can even go and decorate your décolleté and even your shoulders and everything like that. So I would typically go in. I like to like push out my collarbones, throw some highlight on there, throw some highlight on here. I don't have really like predominant collarbones. You can see I have to really push them out there, so I'm just throwing highlight on there. and especially on my shoulder areas, we really want to accent those. I wouldn't do this step if you didn't have a dress that wasn't really like showing off this area, because you'd just be wasting your product. It just gives you a really nice luminosity, makes your skin glow a little bit, so I really like doing that, especially for special occasions such as prom. So now we'll move on to, I would say I would go to my brows. Like, I kind of jump all over the place, so I'm going to go in with brows. So the brow products that I'm going to use today are the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Definer in the shade Dark Brunette. I really love this. It resembles the Anastasia Brow Wiz a lot, so I really like that one. So I'm just going to go in and draw in my brows like I typically would. I think I need to do like an updated brow routine, but I just like to go in and basically fill in the areas that I don't really have brow hair. So I'll like underline the underneath of my brow, and then I just kind of fill in the top. So just give me a few minutes, I'll fill in my brows, and then I will be right back to show you guys how I set my brows. Okay, so now I think my brows are good. So now I'm going to go in and set them. I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Mascara. I have so much Wet n Wild stuff, but you guys, you're welcome. It is so inexpensive and the products work so good. So I'm just going to go in and set my brows. I feel like for a lot of prom makeups, I don't really even fill in brows. I just go in with a brow gel. So you might not even need to fill in your brows if you already have pretty predominant eyebrows, or if you just aren't used to really seeing your eyebrows filled in. Just go in with a brow gel, and it really does so much, especially after putting all these powders on your face. It just helps like liven up your brows a little bit more. So I'm going to go in and be good there, and then I usually get a little bit of like balding when I do that sometimes, so I'll go back in and fill in like this little sparse area with a little bit more product just to make sure I don't have any gaps. Alright, so now my brows I think are pretty good, so now I'm just going to go in and accent them a little bit. So I'm going to take that highlighter that I used on my face, and I'm just going to add this right in the arch of my brow just to help lift it up a little bit and just kind of tie everything together. So I just focus most of the product right in the arch, and then I just kind of blend it on the edges. And then I will also go in and highlight the inner corner of my eye with that same highlight. I really like to tie in the highlighter from my face on my eyes as well. I just feel like it complements really well. So now we are lit. Now I'm going to go in with a liner. So I'm going to use a nude liner. I really like using nude liners, especially for photography. I just feel like it helps really draw the attention to the eyes. It doesn't close them up. If anything, it really enhances them. And I really like using nude or like a skin tone color. That way it's not too much. I just feel like when you use white, it looks like too much. I feel like nude is just like the perfect amount. So I'm just going to go in and line my eyes. And I don't know if I mentioned it, this is the Rimmel SNATCHING Nude Liner. This is like my favorite nude eyeliner of all time. It's like $3. You can find it at Rite Aid, Walgreens, Walmart, any place like that. It's just so good. Like, you guys can see how creamy it is, how just easily it applies, and it's beautiful. I really love that. So now I'm just going to go back into the City Mini palette. I'm going to take the black shade first, and I'm really just going to focus this right on the outer corner. So like outer third, I would say. I'm not going to do too much with the black. Just really want to place it. I'm just using my Morphe M432 brush, just like a flat definer brush. And then I'm going to wipe the brush off and then go in with this brown shade here. And then I'm going to go in and do the rest of the eye. So I'm going to take it from like the middle third all the way to the inner corner. And then I'm going to take my Morphe R39. I'm going to mix these two shades together, like that bone shade and then this brown shade. Just so it's not too intense, I'm going to mix those two together and then just blend out the underneath of my eye. That way we give a nice smoky effect and it's not too intense under there. Oh yeah, that was perfect. Exactly what I wanted it to do. So now we're going to go in with mascara. The mascara that I've been loving is the Physicians Formula Killer Curves Mascara. This reminds me a lot of the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. It's a little bit more dry than that, but I feel like this does a really nice job of separating my lashes, but it still gives me really nice volume. So I've been really loving this one, but we're going to put some false lashes on anyways. But I wanted to mention this one because it's one of my favorites, and if you don't want to do lashes, this is a really nice mascara. I also highly recommend the Maybelline Lash Sensational Mascara. That's also a really nice mascara. Okay, so that's it for mascara. Now, you do not have to do lashes if you don't want to. You could be good to go right here and move on to your lips, but we're going to do some lashes. I'm going to use my Kiss 11 lashes. They look like this. I don't know if you'll be able to see them. I use these all the time. These are like my go-to favorite lashes, and they're super inexpensive. You can get them at Walmart for like $8.88 for like a 5-pack or $3 a piece. So really affordable lashes. They're really comfortable on the eyes. They have a really thin band, so they're really practical to put on, really easy to put on. And then the lash glue that I'm using is the Kiss Strip Lash Adhesive. This is like $4, super inexpensive, a really nice lash glue as well. And then I like to curl the lash just like this. I'll grab each end and just kind of curl it back and forth just so it fits really nicely on my eye. And then I will just go in. I take my lash tool. This is my Sephora lash. I don't know if it's called like a lash tool or whatever, but then I will just place it exactly where I want it. And then hopefully the glue will be tacky so it will just stick to exactly where I place it. So we're just going to let it dry down just a little bit more, and then we'll go in and apply it. The more that I put my lashes on, the better I get with it. So if you're having issues with your lashes, just keep trying. But I like to grab the lash in the middle and just set it right like almost where the center of my eye is, and then it almost fits my eye perfectly. At least with these lashes, like I don't need to cut these lashes down or anything. And then I will just go in with that lash tool and just really squeeze my original lashes with my false lashes. And then again, I will go in with my mascara and just focus the mascara at the root of my lashes. That way it just helps blend my original lashes with the false lashes. And then you don't want to really blend the mascara throughout the entire false lash because I like to reuse my lashes, and when you put the mascara throughout the entire false lash, it just takes away the life of the lashes. So I just like to focus right at the roots. It helps give me a little bit more lift with my lashes, and then we would be all good to go with our eye makeup. So now we'll move on to our lips. I'm going to go in with my lip liner first. I'm going to use my favorite lip liner. This is the NYX Peakaboo Neutral Lip Liner. Just going to line my lips really quick, and then I will go in with a liquid lipstick. So let me do this really quick because I'm not going to be able to talk while I do this. Okay, so now my lips are lined, and now I will go in with a liquid lipstick because we want this to last all night long. And a liquid lipstick is for me the best option because then I don't have to worry about reapplying it or anything like that. And then I always top it with a gloss, so it's like I could just carry the gloss with me, and then it just kind of keeps my lips hydrated and everything like that. So I'm going to go in first with a liquid lipstick. I really like these Wet n Wild Liquid Catsuit Matte Liquid Lipsticks. My favorite is going to be Rebel Rose, but then I also really love these Palladio x Casey Holmes liquid lipsticks. This would be the one that I would typically use if you are darker in complexion, but the one I'm going to use today is the Liquid Catsuit. So I'm going to use the shade Rebel Rose, and I'm just going to fill in my entire lip line. Okay, so that is my lips completely filled in. I like to do like pinky nudes because I feel like they're really flattering, they're really youthful, and it's just like a my lips but better. And then I will go in with a gloss. This is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Praline. I'm going to apply this all over the lips. Typically I would stick it to the center of my lips, but with this look, and you really want your lips to feel hydrated because they can feel really drying on the lips, and this just will give your lips a really nice youthful looking appearance. So I'm going to apply this shade all over my lips. So this is the NYX Butter Gloss in the shade Praline. Okay, you guys, so that is everything for today's video. The last thing that I did was just top off my wing liner with this NYX Epic Ink Liner, and then I would be good to go. This is exactly how I would do a client's makeup if they were going to prom and they wanted something really flattering but still like makes a statement type of look. So I really love how this came out. I was kind of debating how I liked it when I was first applying the shadow, but I feel like it never really comes all together until you put those lashes on, you pop that highlight on, and then you are like, bam, I am here. Let me take that crown real quick. So that's it for this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you guys are going to prom, please stay safe, be smart, and just have fun. I would give anything to be able to go to a prom again, like I said. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys do recreate this look, make sure you guys tag me on my Instagram. It is always linked in the description box along with all of my other socials. Basically, if you're ever looking for me on social network, search Briteclarke and you will probably find me on there. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys in my next one.